really got to pack some stuff in there. So anyway, save some for us, will you? Try and...
Oh, he's a pain in the arse, that Taylor. Australian of the Year, I've got other names for him, I can tell you.
From a young age, Mark Nicholas lived and breathed cricket. He would spend his nights listening to classic Ashes battles between Australia and England on the radio. When the opportunity came for Mark to visit Australia on a cricket scholarship as a teen, he jumped at it.
I was very eager to get here quickly. If you've had a little wireless under your pillow at night and you listen to Alan McGilvray and others talk about the Chappells and Lily and John Snow and Ray Illingworth and Geoffrey Boycott from these distant places like the Sydney Cricket Ground, the Melbourne Cricket Ground, the Adelaide Oval, it's a pilgrimage, I think. Though I didn't immediately fall in love with Australia, when I came back in '91, I was really interested, and that was when I started to think, wow, I get it now. This is a special place.
After a decorated first-class career with Hampshire that spanned almost 2 decades, Mark decided to begin a new chapter of his cricket life by becoming a commentator. One man who played an instrumental role in shaping Mark's career behind the microphone was the late Richie Benaud.
He never put himself upon you, so you never felt threatened by him, but you always felt he was there, watching over you. He'd never say, oh, I don't think that works, or have you ever thought of trying this? Well, I'd say never, not never, but it might be more than once a summer. He might just say, you're going very well, or just a thought. And then I forgot to write about this in the book, annoyingly. I came back on the train from a game in the north of England, and he said, no, please sit down. And I sat down, and I thought, okay, well, you're only going to get one go at this. And I said, I'm doing more and more writing. I've started to write a bit for the Daily Telegraph. And I've even ummed and ahed about the idea of a book. This was like 1992. And he said, and then he started to talk about writing a book. He'd written a lot of books. And then he took my address, and 3 or 4 days later, a book arrived on how to write a book. And so, of course, that won me over even more than I'd already been won over. G'day, everybody, and welcome to the third match in the VB series. I've got Ian Smith, Michael Slater, and Mark Taylor.
Fast forward a few cricket summers, and now Mark is the one playing the mentoring role, with the likes of Shane Warne and Michael Clark.
I go to him regularly and try and get feedback because he's so good at what he does, and it's no different to when I come into the Australian team as a young player. I had the likes of Shane Warne and Glenn McGrath as my role models and idols, and I looked up to them as players. Now I'm very lucky to have someone like Mark as one of our main commentators that I can learn from.
And so we'll come out of the break to a play on of George's
new technique.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then we'll find the three of us standing on the pitch.
Yep.
He can do a demo of what he's thinking, and then you can say, but. Come over to you, George, in Canberra and have a serious discussion. What were you asking him?
Yeah, look, I guess like a lot of people, your new stance looks so different. And I guess my question is, why? Why have you made the change?
My job is to get the best from everybody. And if I can do that, I'm doing my job. And if there's someone new to the commentary box, I'll do all I can to make them look good for themselves and for the production and for all of our pride in the thing.
But the Channel 9 commentary team isn't always fun and games. Mark will never forget the time he received a phone call in the box from former network boss Kerry Packer.
When the telephone rang in the commentary box and the producer picked it up and the whole room went, and I went, and I went over and I took it, and he just laid into me, and he said, stop telling us how cold it is in Tasmania and how everybody's having a shit time. The only people having a shit time are those of us at home who've got to sit here listening to you. Anyway, this thing went on, and at the end of it I was crushed, completely crushed. And I wondered if I'd ever be on television again. I knew I would never be on Channel 9 again, but I wondered. Anyway, we then got summoned to his office the next day, me, Mark Taylor and Ian Healy. And what I quickly realised was that he was putting his marker on us. He was putting out a marker on us. We were the three younger blokes who were gonna take it forward. And after 45 minutes of bollockings, he then started to hand out his powerful message that we should take care of the game, because if we don't, no one else will.
Like the late Kerry Packer, Mark has a phenomenal amount of passion and enthusiasm for cricket. He is never afraid to share his views on the game's big issues, one being the future of cricket and the rise of T20.
I think that the game's administrators are wasting too much, not wasting, but using too much time and energy on the 2020 game and not enough on the Test match game. And if we promote the hell out of 2020 cricket, of course it'll, retain its place at the head of the table. But if we don't promote the hell out of the Test match cricket, of course it won't. So I'd reverse how we promote and push and publicise the game, and I'd make the main feature Test match cricket, because I think 2020 will take care of itself. The lowest common denominator nearly always does. 2020 works, we understand that. But what is questionable is what else works. So that's what the game should be working on. Leave 2020 cricket to be. So I think the focus is wrong. And if they get the focus right with the Test Match Championship, festivals of Test Match cricket, a much greater understanding of how to make Test Match cricket important. I'm Mark Nicholas and you're watching BeyondTheGame.tv.